New at 5, you could potentially pay hundreds in additional taxes on forgiven student loans. News 8's government reporter Garrett Bergquist is at the State House where one state lawmaker wants to keep that from happening.
You won't have to pay any federal income taxes on any student loan debt you get forgiven under President Joe Biden's plan. But the Indiana Department of Revenue says it's taxable income under state law.
The issue is how Indiana's tax code lines up with the federal version. The American Rescue Plan changed the tax code to exempt from federal gross income student loans discharged under certain conditions. But state lawmakers passed a law this spring that requires you to include it in your state income.
I thought it was deplorable. I was going like, why would we do that?
President Joe Biden's plan forgives up to $10,000 in federal student loan debt. So the Department of Revenue says you could pay up to $323 in additional state income taxes. That's on top of county income taxes, up to $202 if you live in Marion County. And if you took Pell Grants, for which up to $20,000 would be forgiven, you could potentially pay an additional $1,000 depending on where in the state you live.
Now that the federal government is assisting you with this loan, that we will, as a state, tax you on those dollars that you may receive from the federal government. But yet and still, we continue to give enormous amount of tax breaks to corporations.
State Representative Greg Porter says he's working on legislation to exclude debt forgiven by the president's order from taxation. The Department of Revenue says it does not have the authority to make such changes on its own.
Why sit back and don't have a loan forgiveness at the federal level, but then come back and charge you or make you pay because you got a loan that was forgiven at the federal level? It just doesn't make sense.
I asked top Republicans on the House Ways and Means Committee for their thoughts on Porter's proposal. They did not respond before deadline.
Lawmakers will begin the biennial budget session in January. The tax deadline for 2023 is April 18th. At the State House, Garrett Bergquist, Wish TV, wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook.